If two people are truly meant to be together, there is one pattern that never changes. It does not matter how different their lives may be or how unexpected their first meeting seems. One sign almost always appears before anything else. Many people believe destiny begins in a soft and beautiful way. They imagine it arriving as instant comfort, easy love, and the feeling that everything has finally fallen into place. They picture two people meeting, smiling, and somehow knowing right away that they have found the person they were always meant to be with. But true destiny rarely works that way. Real destiny enters your life quietly, and then it begins to shake everything around you. It does not bring peace in the beginning. Instead, it brings change and disruption. When two people are genuinely meant for one another, the universe does not rush them into a relationship. Instead, it creates distance. It pulls them apart, questions their beliefs, and forces them to face themselves honestly. It breaks illusions they never realized they were living with. This is not meant to be cruel. It is preparation. If you believe that two people can truly be destined for each other, take a moment to like this video. Before two people who are meant to be together can finally unite, they often need to become different versions of themselves. If two people are truly meant to share a future, there is one thing that almost always happens first. Many believe destiny looks like immediate happiness. They imagine two people meeting, everything falling perfectly into place, and life suddenly becoming simple and effortless. But genuine destiny usually arrives in a very different way. Instead of bringing instant comfort, it first disturbs your life. It asks you to grow before it allows you to receive what you have been waiting for. When two people are truly meant for each other, the universe does not hurry them toward love. Instead, it often separates them. It breaks false beliefs, challenges expectations, and slowly reshapes each person into someone stronger and wiser. This pattern repeats itself again and again. It is one of the clearest signs that destiny is at work. Yet many people misunderstand what destined love actually looks like. They think it should feel comfortable from the first moment, like a safe place where nothing ever hurts. But destined love rarely begins with comfort. It begins with recognition. The very first sign of a deep and meaningful connection is not peace. It is the feeling of recognizing something familiar that you cannot fully explain. You meet someone, and something inside you responds before your mind can understand what is happening. You may not feel calm, you may not feel secure, you may not even know if you fully trust them. Yet somehow, you feel seen in a way that surprises you. It feels as if they notice parts of you that you normally keep hidden, even from yourself. That experience can feel confusing because most people expect love to be soothing, relaxing, and reassuring from the start. But destiny often feels uncomfortable in the beginning. That discomfort does not mean the person is wrong for you. In many cases, it means the exact opposite. It means they reflect the parts of you that you have spent years avoiding. They mirror your fears, your emotional wounds, and the inner work you have not yet completed. They do not only notice the version of yourself that you present to the world, they also see the deeper layers beneath the surface, and that can feel intimidating. That is why destined connections often feel intense instead of easy. They create awareness before they create closeness. They reveal truth before they offer comfort. This is also one reason why people who are meant to end up together rarely stay together at the beginning. If two people are truly destined to share their lives, circumstances often separate them early in the journey. That separation is not random. It happens for meaningful reasons. One person may still be carrying emotional pain from the past. Another may still fear being open and vulnerable. Someone may not yet recognize their own value. Someone else may still love from fear instead of emotional wholeness. Sometimes both people are still growing. Even people with kind hearts can hurt each other deeply when they are emotionally unfinished, so destiny creates distance. It quietly says, "Not yet." It understands that bringing them together too early could damage something that has the potential to become truly meaningful. The separation, painful as it may seem, is part of the process. It is not punishment. It is preparation. When people who are meant to be together become separated, the pain feels different from ordinary heartbreak. It is not only sadness, it is confusion. It feels like losing your direction. You do not simply miss the other person. It can feel as though a part of yourself has gone missing. This happens because destined connections are not based only on the ego, they are connected to personal growth. When someone like this leaves your life, you are pushed inward. You begin looking honestly at the things you have avoided for years. If you have ever experienced a connection that refused to leave your thoughts, you know this feeling. You begin noticing your fear of abandonment. You recognize how often you seek approval from others. You see your habit of giving too much of yourself just to keep people close. You also become aware of how often you ignore your own emotional needs. These realizations are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. The pain is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to wake you up. Destined love changes people in quiet ways. Even when there is no conversation, even when complete silence exists between two people, something inside you begins to shift. Even when logic tells you to move forward, even when there has been no contact for a long time, change continues. You become more aware of yourself. You become more careful about who you allow into your life. You begin speaking more honestly about your feelings. You become stronger in protecting your boundaries. Things you once accepted no longer feel acceptable. Situations you once tolerated begin to feel emotionally exhausting. People you once chased no longer seem as attractive as they did before. You begin wanting depth instead of surface-level attention. You crave genuine connection instead of temporary comfort. Many times you do not even realize that this growth started because of that one person. Yet the moment they entered your life, something inside you was activated. They became the spark that started an important inner journey. This kind of connection does not create unhealthy obsession. Instead, it creates reflection. Rather than losing yourself by constantly thinking about them, you begin thinking about your own life, your habits, your choices, and the direction you want to take. You reflect on who you are today and who you hope to become. You begin asking deeper questions. Why do I love the way I do? Why am I afraid of true closeness? Why have I accepted less than I deserve for so long? Little by little, those questions begin to reshape the person you are becoming. It is your inner world trying to place an experience where it truly belongs. It is trying to understand what that moment taught you, absorb its lessons, and recognize how deeply it changed you. A destined connection does not simply vanish because time moves forward. It remains present in quiet and unexpected ways. It appears when you grow, when you heal, and when you finally move beyond the older versions of yourself. This is because the connection was never only about romance, it was always about transformation. Type yes if you want me to reveal the hidden truth about destined love. Many people wonder why a connection like this cannot be replaced. They try to replace it. They meet new people, begin new relationships, and fill their days with conversations, activities, and routines. They tell themselves that moving forward means forgetting. Sometimes they even believe they have truly moved on. Life may look normal again. They smile, they spend time with others, and they continue their journey. But deep inside, something still feels unfinished. There is a quiet emptiness that refuses to completely disappear. This does not happen because the new person is not good enough. It does not happen because the new relationship lacks effort or kindness. It happens because the new connection does not awaken the same depth. It does not touch the same hidden parts of the soul. A destined connection does not compete with other relationships. It exists on an entirely different level. This kind of connection is not created only through attraction. It is not simply about excitement, chemistry, comfort, or familiarity. It is about evolution. It is about becoming more truthful with yourself. It is about being pushed to face the parts of yourself that you may have ignored for many years. Destiny works on both people individually before it brings them together again. Distance is not a punishment. It is a lesson. It is a place where growth happens. While two people are separated, life shapes them in different ways, often through challenges and uncomfortable experiences. One person begins learning boundaries. They learn how to say no without feeling guilty. They learn that they cannot continue giving more than they receive. They understand that love should not require losing themselves. They discover that choosing themselves is not selfish. It is necessary. The other person begins learning accountability. They understand that silence can cause pain. They realize that avoiding emotions does not remove them. They discover that every action has consequences, even when intentions were never meant to hurt. They learn that true connection requires responsibility. One person learns self-respect. They stop accepting uncertainty as a sign of love. They stop waiting for answers that never come. They understand that consistency matters. The other person learns emotional bravery. They learn how to remain with uncomfortable feelings instead of escaping from them. They learn how to face vulnerability instead of hiding from it. One person learns to stop chasing. They understand that love cannot be forced. They realize that running after someone who is not ready only creates imbalance and suffering. The other person learns to stop running away. They realize that distance does not protect them from losing something meaningful. It only delays the growth they need. Both people are changing, but neither can see the complete picture yet. This is intentional. If everything was revealed too early, the growth would stop. The uncertainty creates the space needed for transformation. Comment separated if destiny ever pulled you away from someone you believed was the one. Before destined people can come back together, many illusions must disappear. Life removes false beliefs slowly and sometimes painfully. Beliefs like love should always be easy. Beliefs like if someone truly cared, they would never leave. Beliefs like love must be proven through suffering. Beliefs like another person is responsible for completing you. These ideas may feel comforting, but they can damage real love. They create fear, dependence, and expectations that no human being can fully satisfy. So life begins removing them. This process is not always gentle. It happens through silence, distance, disappointment, and moments when you are left alone with your own thoughts. During these moments, you begin seeing yourself more clearly. You start noticing patterns. You begin understanding where you ignored your own needs in the past. You learn that love is not meant to rescue you. You learn that another person cannot heal every empty space inside you. Real connection begins when you become whole within yourself, not when you depend on someone else to complete you. Share this video if you are experiencing a separation that feels deeper than ordinary. There comes a moment when something changes inside you. You stop needing them to return. You stop searching for signs everywhere. You stop waiting for one message to suddenly change your entire life. You stop believing that their return is the only thing that can make you feel complete. And that moment is not filled with anger. It is filled with peace. This is the moment when destiny begins moving again, not because you tried harder, not because you held on tighter, but because you released the need to control the outcome. Real love is not dependence. Real love is a choice. When both people can stand strong on their own, when love becomes something they want instead of something they need for survival, alignment begins. If they return changed. They return with greater awareness. They return with the ability to create something deeper and healthier than before. And if they never return, the lesson still remains. You are no longer the same person who entered that connection. You are stronger, wiser, and more grounded. You have accepted the lessons that were meant to shape you. This is the truth about destined connections. They are not about owning someone. They are not about holding on to something forever. They are about transformation. They enter your life not always to remain in the same form, but to awaken something within you, change your perspective, and guide you toward a deeper understanding of love, self-respect, and personal growth. When people who are meant to reconnect come back into each other's lives, something feels quietly different. It is not always dramatic. It does not need to prove itself. Instead, it feels calm and steady. Your body feels more relaxed before your mind even understands the reason. There is less tension, less fear about what could go wrong, and less need for ego to protect itself. You no longer feel the need to perform, pretend, or defend every part of yourself the way you once did. What appears instead is honesty. The kind of honesty that feels natural and effortless. The kind that does not require endless explanations or constant reassurance. The connection feels calmer because both people have already faced their own struggles. It feels deeper because they have looked within themselves and confronted their own hidden wounds. It feels clearer because old illusions have already been removed. It is not perfect because no relationship is perfect, but it is aware. There is thoughtfulness in the words spoken, respect in moments of silence, and understanding in the way boundaries are treated. There are no games, no hidden motives, and no need to constantly test whether feelings are real. There is no uncertainty about where you stand. There is simply recognition, like discovering a familiar truth again, but this time with maturity, wisdom, and strength behind it. However, sometimes, even after all this growth, two people still do not return to each other. This is one of the most difficult truths to accept, but the destiny between them can still have been real. The connection was not imaginary. It was not a mistake. It was not wasted time. Not every destined connection is created to last forever. Some connections enter your life only long enough to transform you. Some people arrive to shake your inner world, awaken something hidden inside you, and leave when their purpose has been completed. Type growth. If this message is awakening something deep within you, some connections enter your life to help you break patterns that have existed for many years. These are the relationships that reveal behaviors and beliefs you learned before you even understood them. They show you where love was confused with sacrifice, where attachment was mistaken for safety, and where silence was mistaken for peace. These connections bring hidden pain to the surface so it can finally be healed instead of repeated. Other connections arrive to teach you self-love when you have forgotten to care for yourself. They reflect how you allow yourself to be treated. Through them, you begin seeing where you settle for less, where you make yourself smaller, and where you ignore your own needs just to keep someone close. They awaken the truth that love should never take away your dignity, your voice, or your sense of who you are. These lessons can hurt, but they are necessary. Without them, you may have continued giving too much while expecting too little in return. Some destined people awaken emotional depth within you. They make you feel emotions you had buried for a long time. They remind you that you are capable of caring deeply, opening your heart, and creating meaningful connections. Even if they leave, they can leave you more open and aware than you were before. Other connections completely change your direction in life. Meeting them changes the choices you make, the standards you create, and the path you decide to follow. They do not remain because their purpose was never about staying forever. Their purpose was to prepare you for what comes next. That does not make the connection meaningless. It makes it valuable. Something meaningful does not have to last forever to matter. Its importance comes from what it awakens inside you and how it changes the person you become.